Organizational system here. Getting a little crazy.
So I actually signed one of the hottest days. About 2 hours just doing that. Put it in a big plate.
It's a good activity for a hot day.
All right, 6 o'clock, you live? Call.
It's recording.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tim Colopy, Mayor of the Village of Millbrook, and this is the August 10th meeting of the Village of Millbrook Board of Trustees. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, we're having some internet issues today. For those of you who want to follow the charts, they're loaded on our website under the meeting docs icon. Here's the agenda. Let me start with Nicole taking a roll call for the trustees.
Mayor Colopy.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Contino.
Here.
Trustee Herzog.
Here.
Trustee Arbogast. Trustee Duro.
Here.
Bob Colacola.
No, just the
No?
trustees.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh. Thank you.
Nicole's covering for Sarah, so
I have
there
no
will be
idea what
some
I'm doing.
Pickups along the way. Most of them will be by me, but she'll probably do some herself. But anyway, don't worry about that. We have some administrative things I want to take care of first. Sarah sent out the draft of the minutes from the meeting of 7:13, not the meeting of 7:27 yet, so we're going to talk about 7:13. The trustees had a chance to review the minutes of the 13th.
Yes.
Any changes or corrections?
I didn't note any for myself.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes. In a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Now the vouchers. Okay, already it's going to be one of these. Look at the chart, you can't see it because we don't have internet. So I'll speak to the copy I have in front of me. So the list of unpaid vouchers for this month are as follows. The general fund, $151,000. The tennis court project, $7,300. The retaining wall project, $24,000. The water fund, $12,000. And the sewer fund, $13,000, for a total of $207,000. Now in there, it's predominantly due to the fact that we paid our liability insurance this month across the board for water, sewer, fire, and the village. And that's $75,000. And we also have a monthly payment to NDP for $34,000, which covers about half of the total. Any questions about the vouchers?
No.
Making a motion to accept the vouchers.
I'll make the
In a
motion.
second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. All right, so I don't know if you can see that, but what follows next are the department reports. We're going to start with Deirdre, for Justice County. Then we're going to talk about the sign. To tell you the truth, we're going to spend the majority of the meeting talking about public comment regarding the sign, and there's a chance we may not get any further than that. I'm telling the department heads now as a heads up. So if you see us getting into the details, and you think we're not going to have time for you, you're welcome to leave, except for Scott. We need you to stay so we can open the sealed bids for the sewer line. That's all right? Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, Deirdre, want to give us an update from Dutchess County?
Thank you all. Good evening, Deirdre Houston, Dutchess County Legislator. So, as I told you last month, our August meeting for the legislature will be later in the month. It's not till August 22nd. So since we actually was here last time, we have not had a meeting. But I did want to alert you to the email I sent you all about the Veterans Micro Grant that is open. The application's open now through the Planning Department. Again, it's targeting $5,000 to $15,000 projects for VFWs, Knights of Columbus, those kind of things within the community. Also, I sent the grant press release to Tribute Garden because it could be used for a plaque or a memorial or anything like that. So I've sent it out to as many community members that I know would like to apply for that grant, but certainly if you know anybody, forward it, get in touch with me because it's a great opportunity for some veterans grants within our community. And then just a couple of things coming up on our agenda I want to bring to your attention. I know Trustee Herzog asked me last night about the MIG grant and that the Millbrook Fire Department was left off of that. I can tell you that Chief Bonus and I have been in contact with the county, and I'm certainly not going to make a statement about it tonight in the sense that we will be granted the money, but it's looking good, and we've asked for the county to revisit our application.
Oh, nice.
And so there is some funding, and again, I cannot comment on it until after our meeting, but I hope to come back to you next month with some good news about that.
Oh, great.
And then coming up in our monthly meeting is using some ARP dollars from the county, about 12 million, and starting a housing land trust to discuss the affordable housing needs within the county. As I told you about a couple months ago, we had an affordable housing needs assessment that was done from the planning department, and in response to that, the county is looking at putting some money towards a housing land trust. It's going to be multifaceted, and we'll debate that at our meeting, so I'll have an update for you after it's debated at our meeting, and if it's approved, I'll certainly bring you more details about how to apply and access the trust from a municipality standpoint. And then the other thing that's coming up on our agenda is the county is proposing a threat assessment group for countywide that municipalities will be targeted and can opt into, and it's basically it's going to have two initiatives. One is just communication among the partner agencies that will be involved in this group, and the second will be a proactive wraparound approach to members of the community who have a specific need. So those are two things we're going to talk about at our meeting, and I just of course wanted to come and see if you need anything from me.
Okay.
Great.
Well, very great, thanks.
Thanks.
All right. So, Matt and Ted, before we get into the monthly reports, let's go straight to public comment. So, first of all, let me just say where I'm at regarding the sign. There's no doubt that the fire department needs a new sign. All right. I personally have been unimpressed with the way electronic signs are used throughout the county. On the other hand, the Millbrook Fire Department has proposed restrictions on the use, which I think were exemplified last night at the show and tell, which, by the way, we have posted on the internet through YouTube, I think, right? All the video from last night is posted. And so what I'd asked Matt, just sent it to him today so it's fresh, that we come into a document understanding agreement in terms of how the sign would be used. All right? And why I think that's so important to me is because, yes, the fire department needs a new sign. We have to be thinking about the next person that comes forward, the next organization, the schools, the churches, whatever. And I need to make sure we have a clear understanding in terms of what restrictions are allowed and where not. And so that's where I'm at right now. Matt, any comment about that?
We'll do whatever the village wants us to do.
Okay.
I mean, it is your building, it is your land. We do need to replace the sign, as you just said.
No doubt about that.
And we'll go under the requirements that you asked of us.
All right, fine. As I said on the agenda, and I've been spreading the word, I wanted to do a vote today, but we're not because the fifth trustee is not here. So we're going to have public comment. The actual vote will be at a subsequent meeting, probably next month. That's what I want to do. No objection to that. All right. So therefore, I want to open up the public comment section. So first, tell me, how many of you could raise hands want to make a public comment? Okay, good. Not too many. So what I'm going to do is, Nicole, for the public comment, I'd like whoever's commenting to come up to the chair there and stand. Can you change the camera so they show up on the camera?
I'm trying to get this to work. I'm sorry. I'm hoping it's recording. I don't think it's live.
Okay. All right, fine. We'll do what we can here. What I'd like to ask is that you come up and whenever you're ready, state your name, where you live in the village, in the town, outside the village or outside the town, give us your opinion as far as the sign, and please restrict it to the top 2 reasons why, if you do that.
I'm sorry, top 2 reasons?
Yeah, the top 2 reasons I'm suggesting. And I'd like to keep the comments to about 2 minutes, if you could, just for the sake of time. With that, there's no order. Whoever wants to step up first, please come to the podium. Go ahead. The podium, I mean the chair. Sorry about that.
The podium.
Yes.
So I wrote 3 minutes worth of comments. I'll try to edit them.
Use the Reader's Digest version if you could.
I'll give it a whirl. So my name is Heather LaVarnway. I'm a village resident. I'll get right to the point and say I do not think we should have any electronic message signs in the village, and I do have numerous concerns about the proposed sign. I'll give you my full statement so you'll have it for the record. First and foremost, public safety. Drivers on Franklin, particularly those leaving the village, will come around the corner and have their eyes drawn to the lit sign, which means they are not looking at the road. It's a natural response to look toward a bright object. It's what makes this type of sign appealing to advertisers, but it's also what makes it a safety hazard. We are lucky to be a pedestrian-friendly village, and we have a decent amount of foot traffic between the green and the park. The sign will be a distraction to drivers and a safety hazard to pedestrians. And I'd also like to say that I've worked in the planning and zoning field for over 20 years. My experience includes extensive reviewing of signage, site lighting, and reviewing and writing zoning codes. And honestly, I've never met an electronic sign that doesn't eventually get used to its fullest potential. I understand the current board and fire district are pledging to keep the negative impacts of the sign to a minimum. I appreciate that, but over time, as people come and go, both at the fire district and the village, the flashier sign functions will get used, and then it becomes an enforcement issue. I do have several other points, including some suggestions.
Okay, that's your top 2, and that's good. If you'll leave me a copy of your statement, that'd be great. Okay, thank you, Ellen. Next.
I'd also like a copy of that as well.
I'll make sure you can copy them all, right? Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
I am Lee Cornell. I live in the town of Washington, and I find it very disturbing that I was approached by people in the village and the town that were afraid to send an email or to have any dissent about the sign because they were fearful that they would then be on a list and that there would not be a response if they were in need, and the fire department or the rescue department.
Oh, come on.
So I'm speaking for those who were brave and sent emails and are here tonight.
I'd like a list
And
of
I-
all those people.
Let's not do that.
Please let me have my words, because you had many words last night. Last night it was characterized that if you were opposed to the sign, you were opposed to the fire department. And that clearly was not the case. That is clearly not the case. Everybody respects and has gratitude for the fire department and the rescue squad. So this is about an electronic sign. It's not about the rescue squad. It's not about the fire department. I would like to understand better why a 100% volunteer organization can claim that it's a government agency. But suddenly now it is exempt from having to follow the restrictions that are imposed, that are in the code of the village.
Okay, so first, just to clarify, the fire department didn't make a declaration. Our legal counsel did.
Oh, so this is a question for you,
Yeah, okay,
not for
fine.
them. It's a question that why should 100%? Because the Rotary Club is 100%. The VFW is 100%. There's a lot of volunteer organizations and a lot of organizations that might feel that once a sign is given and allowed by the fire department, it would set a dangerous precedent to other organizations. What would stop the library, the village, town board?
Okay, yeah, I've got your point, and I'll respond to that later, I guess.
Okay,
I'll
and
do
you've
that.
heard my comments last night, and they haven't changed. So thank you
Okay,
very
fine.
much.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Karen Schwabsel. I live in the village. I've lived here since the 1970s, and I've owned 2 houses. I just don't think the sign, an LED sign, is appropriate for the village. The village has been well taken care of by all the powers that be for a long time. We have a drugstore, but we don't have a CVS. We have a market, but we don't have a a safe way. We have a hardware store where everybody helps you. We don't have a volunteer. And I don't think an LED sign, once you let one in, another one might creep in. And it'll change the atmosphere of the village. I know I'm old and I'm also old-fashioned, but I don't think you're going to get us more recruits, as the guy said last night, that you're going to get more recruits. It's like a club, this thing. My son does EMT work out on the West Coast and the fire department. He's the head of the mitigation bars there. So I know how hard you work and I appreciate it. But also I think maybe out on Long Island, if you have a fire in your house, I mean if you have a call and it's a false alarm because you burnt the toast, but the guys have to come. The second time, they charge you $500. The third time, they charge you $1,000. So you're very careful about.
Okay, Carter.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'd just like to have the comments forwarded towards the board of trustees. Like, I don't want to be putting the fire department on the defensive here, but we're the ones who are making the decision. So I think your comments should be addressed towards the trustees if you could.
Okay.
Okay, next. Yes.
Thank you. I think I haven't talked to too many people. I really don't like the idea of the sign. I greatly respect the fire department, and I think they made pretty well clear why they want it. I went around and looked at a lot of fire departments, and I thought a lot of the most attractive signs were not lit, and a lot of the worst signs were lit. But I do believe that our fire department will follow whatever rules are established. Will those rules stay established is another thing. I wanted to ask the board, are you going to make all these statements available to the public?
Yeah, we'll make up minutes of the comments. If it's not recorded, so we won't talk about. We will do our best to summarize the comments.
If they can send them to me, I can put them in.
Yeah, if you have comments like what Heather did was great, but I mean, other than that, we're taking notes here. I see it. A couple of the trustees taking notes. We'll combine them together and do the best we can.
Okay, and I heard that people they've told me they couldn't be here, they've sent their feelings.
Yes.
Are we going to see that? I would like to, I think we should.
I've got 29 inputs.
I don't know if that's their expectation.
Yeah, I don't think I should be sharing that.
No letters either. All right, what other thing, the CAC, have they been asked about it? Have
Yes,
you
well,
spoken to them?
CAC has submitted a letter.
Will that be available? They're a public board?
I think we can do that, sure.
Okay, because we should be able to see their
Yeah.
opinion. All right,
Okay,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. I know this is a hard decision, and I respect the decision that's made, and I respect the way the fire department uses it. I'm sure they'll follow the village code, but I personally
And again, we
think
didn't get your name and where you live, please.
I'm a village resident, Cecilia
Okay.
Pallaby, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But I did look at the schools, and I could not find a lit sign on the school property except for the scoreboard.
Yep, okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Can we just pause for 1 minute? I
Sure.
want to try something. Hold on.